Um, video two, video two, episode two, I'll call it. Um, what makes you a good person? I suppose is the topic today. Something a little bit more philosophical. My last video was me rambling, so I'm gonna try and string this one together, maybe into something more feasible. I was thinking, oh my god. I was thinking about what makes a good person. More precisely, I was thinking about what if I just one day was myself, right? And none of that, pretending to be who you want to be, right? Because that's who you present to other people. You present a person you want to be, the ideal you, and you'll never be that person. As you change, you'll want to be someone else than who you are, and maybe one day you'll become the person you want to be, but at that point you want to be someone else. That's sort of the nature of people. But I was wondering if I just sort of did what I wanted, if people would see me as a good person. Probably not, because a good person to most people is a selfless person. But I think that's a selfish view. If all you want from other people is for them to give everything away, I don't think that's a good person. I think that's a stupid person. Someone who's just needlessly selfless. So what is a good person? I mean, you can say sort of critical thinker, someone who forms their own opinions. Is that selfish though, to say as well? Because of course you'd want the world to be full of good people. So when someone asks you what a good person is, they're sort of indirectly asking you what your perfect world is. And if your perfect world is full of selfless people, would that include you? Does that mean everyone has to give everything away constantly? That's what Peter Singer argues. He has a paper, I forget the name of it, something about famine, where he argued that you should give everything away to charity. That is the only moral way to live. I haven't read it. I don't have the patience. But is he right? I mean, I suppose if I was to give everything away to charity, no one could possibly tell me I'm a bad person. But that's not a way to live. Maybe even if you're religious, even if you're atheist, doesn't matter. Most people do think this is your one life. Even if you believe in reincarnation, you couldn't possibly believe that you would keep those memories. So as far as anyone is concerned, really, this is your one life. And you can't go around just giving everything you have to other people. Maybe you have enough to give, but who cares? That's not the point. So to sort of return to the topic, if not selfless people, critical thinkers, well, sure. You want a world full of Ben Shapiros. You want a world full of people who constantly seek to improve. That's great. But then there won't be a selfish person. If everyone's concerned with themselves, it's sort of the opposite side of the coin. Critical thinkers aren't concerned with themselves necessarily, but they'll always think themselves smarter. Not indirectly. Most people think themselves smarter than you. That's sort of something you realise after a while, even if they don't say it to you. They think they're better than you. And that's fine. I think I'm pretty smart. You think you know more than me. I think I know more than you. That's the nature of all. Sort of the main character syndrome, if you will. Everyone's convinced that they're the only person experiencing. And I don't know if I mentioned that in episode 1, but that's sort of something I've been working on, because I nowadays sort of tend to live my life as if I'm the only real person. Everyone else I still respect, of course, because it would make me happy to see a world where everyone respects each other. But is that the only thing keeping me from being a bad person? It's sort of like when religious people ask, oh well, how do sort of a religious, agnostic, atheist, whatever, how do they even base their morals? If the only reason why you're doing good things is so other people will do good things for you, are you a good person? And you can sort of think about that from your own perspective as to why do you do good things? Do you give to charity because that's the good thing to do? No. You give to charity because it feels good, really. You give to charity so you can tell people, oh, I gave to charity. Good actions feel good. That doesn't make them bad, of course not. I mean, maybe an evolutionary response could be that doing good things feels good, because that's better for your tribe, for your people, if you give away. But we would believe that we're sort of over that philosophically, ethically. We're sort of on a higher basis now than just what's good for the people and what is right. And the whole sort of conversation here that we've started only works in the idea of objective morality. If you truly think there is such thing as a good person, or if there's one definition of a good person, there's probably more. It's sort of like how you have this idea of an attractive person in your head. Someone tell you, oh, what's the most attractive person you can think of? You'll tell them your type. But then you'll see someone else on the street who's completely different. Doesn't look like your type at all. But it'll be the same. You'll still think they're attractive. And in the same way, you can still say someone's a good person even if they don't give away to charity. Just by talking to them. Sometimes you sort of sit down and talk to someone and think, wow, what an interesting person. A good person? Is that what makes a good person? Just being interesting? Maybe. I mean, I for one would love to, I would prefer to live in a world full of interesting people than just people who give away to charity. And maybe that is logical. A good person is an interesting person, because who cares in the grand scheme of things how good of a person you are, how much you gave away to charity? Because, I mean, maybe a little bit nihilistic, but everyone's going to die eventually. So make this experience worth it for other people. And it's not exhausting to be an interesting person. I mean, it's just you, right? So be sort of fascinating. And it's not just what this society, or we live in a society. It's not just sort of what society thinks is interesting. Be unique. Not so everyone can look at you and say, oh, this guy's so unique, I wish I was like him, but just so they can look at you and say, wow, that's different. That's more to add on to my life experience. Because that's why we're all here. To live a life. To live a life. Don't live a wife. To live a life worth living. So, I guess moral of the story today. Be interesting, I suppose. Just be a fascinating person. It's not exhausting. Doesn't require much of you. Just go out and do shit, man. I think that's it. I don't know what time it is. Probably 3 a.m. It's January 20th. I already lost track of time. It's January 2nd. 3 a.m. I think. Good night.